Next up on WTV, graduation rehearsals, a senior's yearly tribute to his mom, STEM Spotlight takes a look at physics, and baseball continues its playoff march. WTV's Daily Update starts now. Hey there, Hawk Nation. Today is Thursday, May 18th, and I'm Karina with today's Daily Update, brought to you by Wingspan TV. Seniors are fast approaching graduation on Saturday, but before they cross the stage and get their diploma, they have to practice. WTV's Aditi Shah has the details.
Seniors will finally graduate on Saturday after their journey through high school. But before they receive their diplomas, seniors must attend a mandatory graduation rehearsal today at 2 p.m. Seniors will practice walking to the stage, receiving diplomas, and shaking hands so that they are prepared for the real event in 2 days. Graduation rehearsal is in the main gym, and all students will have early release on Thursday and Friday to accommodate. Reporting for WTV, I am Aditi Shah.
It may not seem like graduation needs much rehearsal time, but there's a lot of moving parts the district's graduation weekend. Joining us now from the Ford Center is WTV's Varun Saravanan.
Hey Karina, for the last couple of years, Frisco ISD has held all of its high school graduations here at the Ford Center. But there's a lot that goes into making sure the high school graduations run smoothly. Here to give us some more information on how it all works is the district's broadcast facilitator, Stephen Doherty. Thank you for joining us.
Of course.
As we all know, spring in Texas can be hot and humid, or it can be wet and stormy. How does it help to have all of our graduation for the district in one place indoors?
Well, it's a huge help because we don't have to worry about weather, which would require a reschedule. And with as many graduations as we do, reschedule could be a real nightmare. So keeping everything in one place and keeping it indoors keeps all of our schedule on track, and we can get all 10 and next year 12 in just the 4 days.
Okay, great. 10 graduations in 4 days. What kind of coordination does that take?
Takes a lot. So our student services team runs pretty much the whole show, but we have to coordinate everything from the florist to security to the video boards. Obviously we have the stage and sound that's not typically on the field, ticketing, custodial, catering. So there's a lot that goes into that for each graduation ceremony and then for the full days. So there is a ton of work, and the student services team does a great job dividing that up and handling that workload.
I think the real test is Saturday and Sunday with 4 graduations on each day. Does the district have that planned down to a minute to make sure that everyone is in and out at the right time?
It's close to the minute. We have a run a show for each campus that the principals help to build with ourselves, and we kind of give them that. There's about a 75-minute block that they have to get this done. So, there's some changes. Each campus does some things a little different, but that 75 minutes helps us get the next graduates out and the new ones in as we roll through Saturday and Sunday, like you said. So we are close to the minute, but it has to be tight on that 75 minutes.
Yeah, I'm sure. Next year we have 2 more graduating classes with seniors. How is that going to pose a challenge?
So I think the challenge will be, like I said, the 75 minutes. Anyone that goes over, now you start cutting back into the next graduation's timeline, because we still want to be able to give the graduates their moment, right? They get to cross the stage, and we want to do that. So we're going to try this year and probably keep in next year is we're going to call names from both sides of the stage. So there'll be graduates that come from the left and the right and just constantly moving. So you'll get a quick moment with your name called and on the screen with your diploma. But it'll be important to keep that timeline to get 12 done in the same amount of time.
Great. Thank you for a couple minutes of your time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Graduations start tomorrow night with Independence High School and wrap up on Sunday with Reedy High School. As for Liberty, the Red Hawk graduation ceremony is at noon on Saturday. Back to you, Karina.
Thanks, Varun. We're going to miss you. For those of you that know Varun, at the start of the year, his hair was significantly longer. But shaving his head is an annual affair for Varun. But he doesn't do it for the change. He does it for a cause close to his heart. Many fundraisers on campus raise money to support student events and clubs. Others donate to local communities and welfare organizations. But one student on campus has a fundraiser that focuses on what is no longer there, his hair. Senior Varun Saravanan and his father hold a yearly fundraiser to support different cancer organizations.
When I shave my hair, it kind of shows my support for other patients. Because we're focusing on kids' cancer research, on our fundraiser page, we're allowed to put a picture of ourselves after we shave our heads, and that kind of goes out to some of the patients. And usually for kids, they might get mocked sometimes, or they feel uncomfortable because they don't have a choice in their hair. They kind of have hair loss because of chemotherapy.
The money raised goes directly to the St. Baldrick's organization, which funds developments in technology, treatment, and university lab research.
I think this is probably our 5th year. St. Baldrick is one of the Cancer Foundation, which focus primarily on kids cancer research. So we want to focus more towards kids. That's where our hope is to get betterment in their life.
But the family has a much deeper connection to their fundraiser than visible at first sight, a connection that started years into their past.
Usually people only start to make change when something happens to them. And for me, when I was 8, my mom passed away from stage 4 stomach cancer. It was March 23rd, 2014. And instead of just sitting around and mourning her death, we thought it would be best to make something better out of it. We knew that she wouldn't want us to be there sad, so we tried to honor her in some way.
While funding is important to support developing cancer research, the family is also trying to send a message with their story.
Our children are our hope. So currently the sad thing is a lot of mortality on children are primarily due to cancer. So we want to focus more on that, bring more awareness and bring more funding towards research so that we can prevent most of them before it happens.
I put in my story specifically because it tends to deepen the message. It shows what my mother had to go through for years. It showed the small things in the process that my dad had to go through and how he still mourns that today. It shows how my sister deals with her emotions today, and it shows how I still have conflicting thoughts about my role in all of this. And I think it's important for people to know that, because cancer is sometimes a taboo subject for people, and even though that it is, it should be spoken of. It's not a good thing to talk about, but it should be.
To help send that message to more people, the fundraiser is virtual and accessible. Anyone interested can donate by scanning the QR code or with the link. Varun plans on studying neuroscience next year at UTD. And here on campus, he was able to explore his interest in science by taking various STEM classes on campus. In this episode of STEM Spotlight, AP Physics 1 teacher Christine Rittenhouse covers the concept of impulse and momentum.
AP Physics 1 students have delved into the law of conservation of momentum and the interplay of impulses between objects within experimental situations.
Impulse and conservation of momentum go right along with Newton's 3 laws, which we studied in the fall. When one object delivers a rightward impulse to another, that object delivers a leftward impulse that is equal in size and opposite in direction, obviously, to the other object. And so that is going to conserve this quantity called momentum.
For the concept of impulse, experimentation is an especially effective tool for engagement that teachers have been taking advantage of.
The second lab that we did, it was a big exploration of like the different collision types. So we had 2 carts, we kept them equal mass at first, and then we changed the masses, and so we were able to explore elastic collisions where energy is conserved, inelastic collisions, completely inelastic collisions, which is when the 2 carts stick together, and explosions. Total starting momentum of the system was the same as the total ending momentum of the system. So again, it's that third law interaction between the 2 carts. When cart A pushes on cart B will push on cart A with an equal and opposite force, and so that's why their changes in momentum are the same.
Conservation of momentum can be applied to a vast variety of real-world situations, practically anything involving the collision of objects.
But anytime you have 2 objects interacting with each other, if the only force between them is essentially just the one object pushing on the other, then you could use conservation of momentum in order to determine what the final outcome will be.
Reporting for WTV, this is Rehan Mansour.
From STEM to something more creative, art students on campus are collaborating with elementary and middle school students in an art show. We go back to WTV's Aditi Shah with more.
Elementary school students have drawn monsters for an art project, and instead of hanging their art up at school, it's been moved to middle and high schoolers. The drawings are then used by the older students as inspiration for their own monster art pieces, and there's a showcase to bring these works to the public.
I just hope that kind of the community can see kind of the different stages of art in our area here, because we're going to start with the elementary school kids, the 3rd and 4th graders drawing a monster, all the way up to some of the 8th graders doing their artwork, and then having some of our advanced Art 1 students kind of showcase some of their skills.
Even though the elementary drawing is the basis of her work, freshman MK Cecil thinks she could add her own touch.
I feel really good about my work. I think it's pretty close to the original piece, but at the same time it has some of my own creativity and things that I'd like to put in a monster.
Reporting for WTV, I am Aditi Shah.
For most people on campus, the end of the school year can't come fast enough, but the Red Hawks baseball team is hoping to keep playing longer after school ends. In today's sports, WTV's Ryan Shapiro takes a look at the team's postseason run.
Baseball will look to continue their playoff success tonight as they face Reedy in a 3-game series to move on to the 5A Region 2 semifinals. For head coach Scott McGarr, playing during the summer would be a cool feeling.
There's going to be at least one team playing into the summer. And I've only done that twice in my 20-plus year career. Playing in the summer, that's a pretty cool feeling.
Even with Game 3 scheduled for Saturday night, McGarr and the Red Hawks are ready for a possibility in playing after graduation.
The hopes is to take care of the series in 2. But, I talked to seniors earlier in the week and asked them if we go Saturday, is everybody okay with it? And they're like, absolutely. They're all fired up. And so, being able to play on a Saturday, after graduation would be awesome.
We just got to lock in. It's kind of tough being able to have to go to a graduation and then go straight to a game, but I think we can do it.
Being the only team still playing on campus, McGarr is excited knowing that the team's work is paying off.
It's awesome. It's awesome for these kids, the work that they've put in to still be playing at this point.
First pitch is at 7:30 at the Nest. Reporting for WTV, I'm Ryan Shapiro.
One of the team's crucial pieces is senior Dak Dinesh, and he's the focus of this year's My Life As.
So we start off the day walking to my truck and change into my practice uniform. And then as a team, we all put our cleats on and everything and put our bags in the dugout. And then we do a dynamic stretch just to get us loose and everything.
Hope they get that out.
And then we head over to the cages and did our hitting rotation. And then after that, I did some base running. And then me and my group, we hit on the field as well as getting some defensive work in on the field. And then after that, we cleaned up the field, put tarps back on the field, put away the balls and equipment and everything. And then after that, we head into the weight room and get a short lift for our game against Reedy and Paris North Lamar.
If you're looking for more from Wingspan, you can follow us at Liberty Wingspan on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, or visit our award-winning website, libertywingspan.com. And now for today's announcements. Today, seniors must attend a mandatory graduation practice at 2 p.m. Students will receive ceremony tickets and cords at practice. That's it for today's daily update. This is Karina Grokhovskaya for Wingspan TV.